Welcome to the new season of the Live Your Spa Life show. The Spa in Spa Life stands for Seek Power Always, that divine power within you to do what you're here to do. The theme for this season is intentional living. Amazing people like you share ways to live by design and with purpose to ensure that this short ride of life occurs with choice, physically, financially, spiritually, and in your relationships to create a world-class life. In these times of uncertainty, it's time for you to move past the distractions and start trusting yourself more through your God-giving knowingness. No one truly knows better what's best for you than you. In this season, you'll have plenty of examples of people choosing their best life and creating a positive impact through intentional living. Thank you for sharing your precious time with us and being part of the Live Your Spa Life conversation. With us today is Michele Blood, a successful, multi-talented lady. Michele was a rock star in Australia after a near-fatal car accident. She created positive affirmation songs, which not only healed her body, but also took her to worldwide success. These affirmation songs affect the left and right brain hemispheres. Now, the lyrics are the left hemisphere and the melody and music, the right hemisphere. So the new positive messages go straight to the subconscious mind. This is why millions of people worldwide have downloaded her affirmation power songs. These songs cover healing, success, money, joy, confidence, and they uplift the person immediately. In addition to creating Magnet to Success products and seminars worldwide, her public mystical success events have been held in over 26 countries. Michele has co-written and created over 80 books, music CDs, audio programs, TV shows, and videos on positive thought, mind transformation, and meditation. Michele, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Diane. We're going to live our best spa life today.
Absolutely. Talk about seeking power always. You just really talk about moving through the fire and getting on the other side and creating success. People will look and see your success, but maybe not always know the backstory on how you got there. So I'd love for you to share that.
Yeah, well, as I said, I was a rock singer in Australia, as you said, I should say. I started singing professionally since I was about 5 or 6. I was on TV shows. And then eventually I got a lot of different bands. I would get bands together. Sometimes they would hire me as a singer. And I realized that I didn't like the way I was treated like that. So I really went searching for the best musicians in Australia and just got together after all those years, got together the most magnificent band. And we to start with, we were a cover band, but very popular cover band, worked all over Australia. And then, because doing covers is a really good way to stretch your vocals and to learn how to do so many different types of music. And so then we started writing our own music. And then we got a Time Warner record deal. We started making videos and touring, just touring everywhere with really big bands overseas, like the Pretenders, In Excess, Midnight Oil, you name it, Georgia Satellites. I mean, so many big bands, until eventually we were like headlining everywhere ourselves, and we had bands supporting us. And then on our way home from a 12-hour drive, I was with the truck driver. He fell asleep at the wheel from Brisbane to Sydney. And as the passenger, a lot of the musical speakers went into me. So I was crushed. I had so many injuries. It was just amazing. I'm not going to go through all the injuries because I don't want anyone to lose their breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and promise you will if I told you all of it. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me, for me to, and it's so crazy because you would think, this crazy singer, things I would do on stage, backflips, jumping on speakers, jumping on the guitarist's back, going over to the drummer and doing his stuff. I mean, I was a really good entertainer, and it's like part of that was my physicality, not just singing. And if I couldn't do that anymore, because they said if you do survive, it'll be very, very rare that you walk again. And I was like, what am I going to do? And people would say, well, you can still sing. You're a singer. You're a songwriter. But to me, the whole enchilada is me being an entertainer, because I loved entertaining with my, dancing and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
And so people would start, we'll stop there because we can go into the, you can ask
Right.
another question.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you for that. It's like when people are what they would consider like the top of their game, right? And something happens that takes them out of track. You're at a fork in the road at that point where you could give up or you could up level and go. I love how you position that, how this actually happened for you, how when you take tragedy and you take things that happen and you look at, okay, why did this happen for me and where can you move through that? And you took that road and you were able to look at it. Now, as you were coming out of that, how is it that you were able to take, I mean, you were already a skilled singer and performer. How did that come into tying that together with the, the mindset and the brain activity to actually pair music with affirmations?
It was a complete accident.
As all good things are.
Yeah, but it was like Napoleon Hill wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich, which many of the younger listeners may not know about. But someone put on a cassette, they were trying to stimulate me and uplift me because I couldn't move, in this hospital steel plated bed. I was in traction, just in agony, so much agony I'd pass out every few minutes. It was so bad. Anyway, and I'm listening to this and I couldn't turn it off, which was very frustrating. But I did like the sound of Earl Nightingale. He was speaking from the book, and I loved any sort of sound of volume. That his deep baritone speaking voice was beautiful. But I wasn't interested in any of the book because it's about rich millionaire men in America in the 20s. Why did I give a bugger about that? But one chapter changed me, where Napoleon Hill's little boy was born completely 100% deaf. And Napoleon Hill would go into the little boy's room every single night and do affirmations, which they used to call autosuggestion. He would affirm that this little boy you're healed, you can hear perfectly, you grow up strong. I mean, just every night. The little boy at the age of 3 got 30% hearing, which all the doctor said was impossible because he didn't have proper eardrums. And so I just, how you have that satori, beyond an aha, where in the marrow of your bones, that you're hearing truth. So I said, I've always used willpower. Anything I've wanted to create, I've created through massive action, hard work, but willpower, willing myself to be able to do it, not listening to any naysayers. So I said, I'm going to do an affirmation. It had to be positive. It had to be something that you wanted, you didn't have yet. It had to be stated in the now, and it had to be emotionalized. So I wrote, I didn't write. I just recorded my voice when I got someone to come in because I couldn't lift my arms. Anyway, I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. I am my friend. As the healing light of the universe surrounds me and goes through me, I know that I am healed. Did this for 2 weeks, gave up on it. And do you want to know the reason why I gave up on it, Diane?
Yes, I do.
Because my doubting mind thought it was BS. And nothing was changing, and the doctors are telling you this. So if your doubting mind can't believe it and you're in physical agony, no matter what the challenge is you're going through, whether it's financial or whatever it is, the doubting mind will shoot out that thought. You can't emotionalize it if you don't believe it. So right. Then I had the huge satori. I was like, oh my God, I want the affirmations to music, to pop music. So I got my brother to go out to all the music stores. There were no internet back then. That's how old I am. Anyway, and he said, there isn't any such thing. I can't find a thing. So I just said, put the cassette player on. And I just went, I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. I am my friend. As the healing light surrounds me, I know I am healed. I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. I am my friend. I sang that for 60 minutes. And then I listened to it every day, and I was healed. I became healed so fast. The doctors said, that they just said, this is impossible, how quickly she's healing. It was just like, because there was a fracture. I won't go into all the many details. I still had one more long operation, 17 and a half hours to do. I was in the hospital for months. But listening to that song affected everything because it goes 300 times faster into your subconscious mind. Your doubting mind does not have a chance to get rid of it, which is why advertising agency, very smart, they are, of course, spend billions a year, not millions, on jingles, because they know once you've got that jingle in your head, you'll have their product all the time, even if you never want to drive a Toyota.
Right, right. Well, Michelle, I was, as you were saying that, I was thinking about how, what are the soundtracks of our life, right? I mean, you can have a song that you haven't heard in like 30, 40 years that instantly bring back a good memory, a sad time in your life, like all of these different things that create these memories, right? And so music is such a powerful thing that can speak to our soul. And I think that's just brilliant how that got connected together with that. And so, especially when you're in a challenging time, to be able to reach out, because yes, the doubting mind, the mind in general can be, I always talk about, your mind can be like a bad neighborhood. Don't go in there by yourself, right? There's there's all these crazy things. And so we got to find ways to get around it, right? And music goes to the soul, right? That is like a bypass that happens within us. And particularly in this time in the world, particularly the last couple of years where people have been in shutdowns and fear and all the different things that have happened, how can those people, suicide is an all-time high, depression is a high. How is it that people can, take this concept and pull themselves out of this?
Well, the beautiful thing, by the way, that was so clever. I've never heard that before. I loved it. It tickled me pink. I laughed my socks off. Anyway, it's just got me.
Well, share it with other people, right?
Yeah, right. Quote.
Maybe you can make a song out of it.
Diane Halfman quote. Anyway, yeah, right. Oh, it's like what's his name? Marco, the Three Stooges. What was his name?
Oh, Groucho Marx?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to join a club that would want me as a member.
Right.
Well, the thing about the music is that I've got so many songs written, and some of them Bob Proctor wrote with me when we started working. We worked together 7 years straight. I ran his business, everything. Had hit records overseas. Anyway, that's how the miracle happened. Just more and more good things kept happening to me because my consciousness was vibrating at a faster oscillation. And when that happens, and that's what people have to have happen, you've got this beautiful diamond, which is your divine higher self. It has all the omnipotent power. It's omnipresent, everywhere present, and it is omniscient wisdom. How can you tap into that if it's clogged with all of these memories and going into the past, fears, going into the future? This has got to be unclogged because people cannot get what it is that they want and they're frustrated. There might be really good people with great hearts and they don't get it and it frustrates them. So what I teach and do is I transmit light to people and I get them to start with the affirmations and basic meditation, because the affirmations work immediately, even if you don't like the songs, which you'd be crazy if you don't, because they're awesome. But but if you just listen to them. And that's why I've got millions upon millions of people from all walks of life. Doctors come to me to learn meditation so they can help their patients. My students are in over 32 countries, many different languages, because they want to learn about this stuff to not just lift themselves up, but to help other people as well. And I say to start with, I do everything I can to assist them. But I've also got creative visualization programs that are beautifully done in a way that assists people to really get it. I keep it simple and spiritual. Mwah, 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 kiss.
Yes.
Because
absolutely.
everybody, once their diamond becomes clearer, can attract and manifest into their lives. Like this amazing app, we just spent 2 years developing it. And it has morning meditations. It has an evening manifestation prosperity angel sleep program, which you can listen to all night, and it gets you into a really deep sleep. And I am your angel speaking to you very, very softly and putting all these affirmations and wonderful new thoughts into your head, and affirmations as well. And my most famous song, the Magnet to Money affirmation song, which is for the notifications. So you don't even have to remember that you're a magnet to money or do the affirmation every hour. If you want to, you can just have it. Like one of my students said the other day, she went into a bank and she actually has it as her ringtone as well. You know, all the amazing things that have happened for my students. She was a truck driver. Now she owns all, you know, like a fleet of trucks. All the things that happen, they keep getting more and more, because I want them to have more so that they don't focus on poverty or things that they want to get that they don't have. I want them to focus on their spirit, on their awakening and going into deeper meditation, which many of them do. They've been with me for years and years and years, and more students keep coming in. We have these great Zooms. And even during the lockdown, a lot of the students that were single mums, we all put together, all the members of the mysticalexperience.com, and paid their rent, paid their mortgages, looked after their kids. I mean, it's just the most amazing spiritual community where there is irreverent laughter always, because you must be irreverent. People take God too seriously. They take life too, like Oscar Wilde, I adored him, his writing. Life is too serious to be taken seriously, people.
Right. Absolutely.
So they listen to the affirmations to start with. Just listen to them. Get the Magnet to Money app. It is extraordinary. For the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, you get.
I love it. I love it. Well,
huge amount of content.
Well, and having just, those automatic, times where they go off, where you don't have to think about it, because you want to have habits in place that, excuse me, that is literally that just happen for you, right? That are just automatic, that they're in place. You don't have to think about it. That's the things that go into the subconscious that are able to help you. And you mentioned about Bob Proctor. He called you the petite powerhouse. I love that so much, where it's like you really have that power within you. And, you've done so many of your programs like internationally. And, how do you help people to transform their consciousness when so much of our programming is subconscious and they don't actually even know where it comes from?
Well, I teach them the basics about Kundalini energy and who they truly are, spiritual beings, because I have gone into the depths of spirit. I went off the grid, Diane, for 10 years of my life. I took 14 years to find an enlightened teacher. I looked all over the world. I finally found one, and I studied with her for 10 years, went off Facebook, all social, everything. And I eventually became enlightened, which I never thought could happen to someone like me. Why is a little female rock singer from Australia becoming enlightened? That doesn't happen. I was the only student of hers that did, and she's now retired, and now I'm teaching, passing the candle, so to speak. And what I do is, people don't even have to know that I'm transmitting light. People sometimes have their relative who's ill or something, and they'll get me to do a light transmission for the people, and these miracles happen. And I love that, because I know I'm just a conduit. I'm not off, on, off, on. I am on all the time, and I am a conduit. I put that intention. I love to pray that is already done. I see the person healed. I see the person making money. I see the Muslim woman who couldn't get her children back from Iraq. I see her with her children, miracle after miracle after miracle. And I am just used. I'm humbled by it, but I worked hard to become free, so that my diamond is free, because my diamond is clear. I can then connect to someone's diamond into their consciousness immediately and speak to their divine presence and tell that divine presence, go forward and prepare the way. This is what is happening right now. You don't beg God or your higher self. You don't say, I'll give up pizza if you do this. If you do this for me, I'll be good for the rest. No, it's a command. You have to, that's the power. That's why I love the name of your, seek power always, because that to me is seeking the divine within you always, because the divine works through you. And Mother Meera, beautiful enlightened lady from India who now lives in Germany, she says all the time, God wants you to have everything that will bring you happiness. And there are no limitations. You just sit, people, she doesn't talk to people. You just sit. Whenever you can sit in front of an enlightened teacher or just enlightenment itself, you get that transmission of light. It works immediately. And I love to be a conduit of that and have so much fun. I do not want one person to be suffering ever again in any form. There is no requirement for suffering. It is part of the collective unconsciousness, the Maya. I mean, I was ordained a Buddhist monk in Bhutan, the country of enlightenment, my favorite country in the world, actually. And when you go to an enlightened country like that and you see the monks and the people and the way they live, that is normal. Tibet was taken over by the Chinese, totally destroyed, evil was done. And Bhutan, this tiny little place, the Chinese, they couldn't do it. They couldn't get in. That place is fully enlightened. They could not get in.
Wow. Talk about the power of just, your presence and your enlightenment and where you're at. We didn't talk about this, but I'm just wondering if we could take a moment and just share some of that light with our listeners.
Oh, of course I can. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So I want everyone to take 4 deep breaths. And you've heard of Yogananda, and he's always talking in Babaji, Sri Yukraswa, about Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is doing breathing exercises. You must make sure that both nostrils are always clear, because you have the Ida and the Pingala nerves down the Sushumna, down the spine, and they have to be even. And everyone breathes through just one nostril for a while and then another nostril. The more you can get both nostrils open, and the way to do that is you just literally get a tissue if you have to. Make sure both nostrils are always clear. I mean, I teach it on, I've got free videos on my YouTube station. People can just go and watch them on every topic to do with mysticism and success. But anyway, so everyone just breathe in 4 deep breaths in through the nose. Hold it. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. One more. Just gaze my eyes, and then I'll do a prayer for you after I send this light transmission. I give thanks that every soul is watching this, no matter if it's 5 years in the future. Receive this light transmission. And my intention is I speak to your divine presence. Go before this person and prepare the way so that their life is overflowing with joy, being in that moment, not living in the past or the future anymore, that you are 100% God-governed. And I give thanks that great prosperity and great joy and harmony is now entering your consciousness and your heart. And that you are loved, so loved. You have all the power available. Speak to your divine presence. Every day say, thank you for my beautiful life. What does your beautiful life look like? Write it down as if it's already there. What does a beautiful life look like to you? Write it down. Read it every day. God bless you greatly, and know that you are loved.
Thank you so much. We receive your light and love.
All righty.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, there's so many beautiful things that come through you and are of you, and it's so wonderful to see. And you know, I know that as conscious creators, we create our environments as well, right? We live differently in our bedroom versus our kitchen or our office. What's your favorite room in your home and why?
I don't know. I love every room in my house. I've got this beautiful place that I visualize and now I own right up in the mountains where it snows and it's beautiful. And I've got the whole place looks like a cat museum or a cat house. A policeman came in once to help me put the storm door down, and he said, "I want to come back reincarnated as one of your cats." So, because I've got stairs and things go everywhere. It's like, you know, I've got my own meditation room where I do my one-on-one sessions on the phone with people or the Zoom. I love this room because it's all the cat stuff and it's all a studio. I love the kitchen because I can't say which one I love the most. I am so, I've got a catio where I call it cat TV. They can go out and, you know, it's a completely, you know, they're outside, but they're completely enclosed. So no mountain lions or anything can get to them. And, I don't know. And I love the backyard. I am so grateful for this place. And I've got every wall painted gold and blue and yellow. And it's like, you know, I'm like an old Barbie doll living in her Barbie house.
I love it. I love it. But that's
I've
such a
got
great
everything.
visual.
Everything is pristine. I mean, the developer who worked with me on this, Holly, she's an amazing lady on the app. She came up here once and she just went, "Oh my God, can I look at your wardrobe?" You're always talking about having everything pristine. And she went into the wardrobe. She said, "I want to sit in here and meditate because everything's color coded." Because I'm telling you guys, when your home is pristine, your consciousness becomes clear. One of the gifts that I'm going to give to your viewers is my 6-week mysticism awakening course video every week, giving you just simple instructions. Remember what I say, keep it simple and spiritual. Giving you simple instructions on how to clean energy out of your house, not just to get organized, but how getting organized cleans energy out of your house, because there are pockets of negativity in every home. Paint the walls, do whatever you have to do, incense everywhere, wash the walls down. I give you week to week instructions. And when people actually really do it, and if they can't do the organization themselves, there are amazing women who don't charge much that started learning how to, because they were good at organization. Get an organizer to come into your home and do it for you. You'll be surprised how well they will say, do you wear that anymore? Chuck it out.
It's as such an important reminder for people. You know, when I first retired from the police department, I helped people organize their space because I coined the term the clutter to drama ratio, because I'd been in thousands of homes and saw that the homes that had the most clutter had the most drama, and the police came there more often. But the reverse was also true, that when you created space, and you're right, not just the physical, but you know, how you feel in a space, which is why I asked the question about favorite room, because how we feel in our space, how we relate to it, you know, it's all interrelated in our experience of our life. And so it's an important thing for us to actually look at and see what that is for us.
It's amazing that you did that, policewoman, and then you went into decluttering people's homes. I think that is one of the greatest things that you could do for another person, assist them to declutter, because that will declutter their consciousness. Yes. And it's like, well, you're so cool.
Well, thank you. You know, it's really great to just utilize all of our experiences to be able to reach out and support people. And, you know, I know that our listeners are going to want to stay in contact with you, Michele, and you mentioned about having a special gift for the listeners. Please share that.
Yeah, if you go to Michele Blood, Michele, not 2 L's, Blood, Blood, that is my father's name. Don't blame me. It's an Irish name. It's not a punk rock name. MichelleBlood.com/SPA life. You will receive the audio book of The Magic of Affirmation Power. You will receive, look, there's so many things. It's about $300 worth of products.
So amazing.
Best-selling products, about meditation, the magnetic creative visualization, some of the best songs that Bob Proctor and I wrote that are super, super famous now, and really help your consciousness straight away. And you can do some rock and roll to it.
I love it. I love it. It's so funny because a lot of times people I think they get out of doing affirmations and positive because they're bored with it, right?
Yeah.
And so how brilliant to pair music, right? Things that uplift us, that inspires, that have us remember it in our subconscious. I mean, it's brilliant that you've put those together.
Yeah, well, thank God for that. In that hospital bed, I had no intention ever of selling them to the public because I didn't think they were cool. But in the end, promoters from all over were saying, no, we want you to come and work with Deepak Chopra, Bob Proctor. And I didn't know who any of those people were. I wasn't in that world.
Right.
So I was sitting backstage at the first gig with Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra and Stuart Wilde. And I'm sitting with Deepak and he said, oh, I love your music, the affirmation music. He said, you should do this all over the world. And I said, oh, hi, I'm Michele. Who are you? And he said, Deepak. And I said, oh, nice to meet you. He said, you really don't know who I am? I said, no. And I toured all over Australia with these guys and they were just a blast. I was like, I'm always touring with guys. It doesn't matter if you're musicians or best-selling authors, you're all the same.
Yes, absolutely. I love it so much. Well, Michele, as you know, our theme for this season is intentional living. So in what way are you living an intentional life?
Oh, in every moment. I'm just guided completely. I'm always creating something new. I'm extremely enthusiastic about this new app. What a way to be able to do it without having to do it. Just listen, magnettomoneyapp.com. Anyway, and just my life is glorious. When I go through suffering, it's when I feel other people are suffering. That is when I get on my high horse and I do more than I can possibly do to assist whoever I can see is suffering in any way I can. I do it in any area. They don't have to become a student. They become a free student if they don't have the money. If they want my assistance, they can have it. I'm not like one of those people who go, unless you have the money, you can't get the teaching. No, I just hate that. That's why I do so many free events and free, light transmissions, because why would you punish someone if they just don't have the money right now? That is when they really require the assistance so that they will have the consciousness to have the money.
Right. So wonderful. Well, I know we could be talking for hours on end, and I just want to thank you, Michele, for your wisdom and sharing your light and just your enthusiasm for life. It's such a refreshing thing to get out there into the world, and so I so appreciate it.
I was going to ask you, with all these interviews you do you get them transcribed? Because you could make an amazing book.
Oh, thank you. People have asked me about that as well. We're going on our 6th year, so we're almost like 300 episodes in. So I will definitely put that in the back of my mind to look at doing.
I can assist you with that. I've assisted so many people with that. When I did my Hollywood Success, Magnet to Hollywood Success book, I interviewed the A-list directors, producers, actors, and just transcribed it and put it in a book.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Well, then we will talk offline.
Yeah, I'll help you. I'd love to, because this is really awesome. And I think you get a lot of deeper information when people are just doing it naturally rather than, scripted. So thank you for such a great show.
Thank you, Michele. So great. And thank you to our listeners for spending the time with us here. Really look at this app that Michele has. I mean, talk about having positivity in your life at your fingertips and easy, and having cool music with it. I mean, that is just a beautiful thing. So please share this out in the world, bring it into your life. And until we connect again, live your spa life. Bye for now. Bye-bye.